281-599-9800. 281-599-9800. You can Skype your show from your home to our Redlands, California studio where our
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from fabulous Las Vegas. Today's show is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even contracts given to people they don't understand, plus a whole lot more. For more information, contact Legal Shield at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305. Or visit Legal Shield online for more information at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us. And a big welcome into everybody on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Everybody listening in locally here on Magic 97.9 FM in Las Vegas, welcome in. Everybody on social media, thanks for joining us, as well as hotel television in 650,000 rooms from coast to coast, right from the very top. We have a very special guest and a friend of the Sports Circus, and that would be Alan Glist. Alan Glist, this is, oh, by the way, this is the guy that has had 43 Tony Awards. Not one, 43. That's a crazy amount. And Alan has a bevy of great shows right here in Las Vegas. Alan, welcome in from the beautiful Southeast. I can see you're out on the back deck. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm a big fan of your show, so I am excited and looking forward to chatting with you.
Well, it's exciting, and of course, there's a lot of applause in this one, and we kind of like that. So, Alan, you have a few shows right here in Las Vegas. Now, I've seen every one of them. Well, yeah, I've seen your shows. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. Tell everybody about the shows you have here in Las Vegas.
Well, we have 3 shows that we would currently be running, but COVID shut us down, so it's been a while since we've been performing, but looking forward to getting started again very soon. Now that the vaccines are getting out and things are starting to trend downward a little bit, we're hoping we're going to be opening shortly again. Firstly, we have Menopause the Musical at Harrah's Las Vegas, which we are starting our 16th year. Had it not been, actually, it's going to be our 15th. Had it not been for COVID, we would have been starting our 16th year. We are now the longest running musical in Las Vegas history, and a lot of fun. The show is just great. It's been translated in 7 languages, played in 13 countries around the world. So we're very excited. Can't wait to get that back open. Then we have the Bronx Wanderers also at Harrah's. We actually opened in February of last year, right before COVID. So we only played 6 weeks and got shut down. But that show's been in Las Vegas for 5 years. Started at Bally's, then we moved to the Link, and then we finally moved to the big main showroom at Harrah's. So we're really excited about that. I think it's by far one of the best rock and roll shows in the country with a great story. As you know, it's Big Vinny and Little Vinny, the father and son, his other son, Nick, and all their friends from high school, with just one of the best bands and great stories. So we're excited to get that one reopened. And then, of course, we only ran for 2 months at Caesar's Palace with Thomas John, our psychic medium, when we got shut down. So we're looking forward to reopening that as well. And Thomas is considered the Manhattan medium. He's probably one of the best psychic mediums in the world. He blows my mind every time I hear him give these readings. So, yeah, a lot going on, and we can't wait to get started again. I'm tired of being retired.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, The shows, what I like is the spectrum of shows. It goes from Thomas John as the celebrity medium all the way to 16 years. We'll call it 16 years for menopause. I mean, with all the awards and all the accolades and the Bronx Wanderers, it gives you a nice variety for shows right here in Vegas. Because, there's a couple of companies over here that have, more than one show, and they kind of dominate a lot of the Strip. But I could see Glist Entertainment at some point with Alan and Kathy Glist kind of taking over maybe the Las Vegas Strip at some point. What do you think?
Well, listen, we're having fun. The good news is Kathy and I really love our shows. We love our casts. We love all the people involved. So we're there a lot. We're generally at our shows 5-6 nights a week. So we try to only produce shows that we think we're going to like and that we enjoy. So that's what we're doing. We love each one. They're very diversified, as you mentioned. And we look forward to getting back to it. I really miss it. I miss the interaction with people. I miss live entertainment. We've proven that 2D entertainment doesn't work, as much as we see it on the screen and all the feeds that are going on and virtual shows and so on. There's nothing like being in a theater and watching live entertainment.
Well, especially here in Las Vegas. Look, it's the entertainment capital of the world. But what I have noticed, Alan, is that every time I've gone to one of your shows, you are there. You are making sure you're there, making sure everything is right. How many people will put a show on? Maybe they'll go ahead and work out the kinks early on, but then they'll just kind of go AWOL. And they won't stick around from a quality control standpoint. And I think by having yourself at these shows, it's a testament, number one, to your commitment. And number two, from a quality control side, I think it's good that you're on deck just in case something crazy happens. I mean, look, here, we do a live show right here. We already had to restart this. Why? Because we had a technical issue, at least on one side of the fence here, right? It's live, so anything could happen. So everybody that was watching on television before, well, guess what? We had to redo it, and that's kind of what happened. Sometimes life happens. But having the basically the CEO on deck, on hand, is a really good thing.
Well, thank you. And yes, we are very hands-on producers. I'm not sure that I would want to produce shows if I couldn't be very personally involved. And it's funny when you say that, Sal, because I remember about 3 years ago at Harrah's, Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley was in the show at Menopause the Musical. And right before showtime, one of the gals went down and we had to call her understudy, and we knew it was going to take about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes for her to get there. So Cindy and I went out on stage and we entertained the audience and did a Q&A from the stage with the audience for about 45 minutes. And as people were leaving an hour and a half later, they said one of the best experiences they ever had. They just had a ball being able to ask somebody like Cindy Williams all the behind the scenes and personal questions about her life and her show with Laverne and Shirley and so on. So I totally get it. Live theater, you never know what's going to happen, and you got to be prepared.
You never know what's going to happen. I mean, all we do is we don't fix it in the mix. We don't like the fix it in the mix idea because, let's face it, live is live. People know that, hey, there's a couple of humans out there. And by the way, for everybody just tuning in on Hotel Television and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, we have the great Alan Glist with us. Alan with multiple big stage shows right here in fabulous Las Vegas. Again, Alan's a friend of the circus, also just a very accomplished guy. He and Kathy Glist from Glist Entertainment. It is what it is, folks. Just Google Glist Entertainment. You'll see exactly what we're talking about. Again, thanks for coming back and joining us. So, Alan, as you're down in the Southeast enjoying the beautiful weather down in, and where it's very comfortable, and right here, right now in Vegas, actually, it's very comfortable. But, in the dead of summer, as well as I do, when it's 110 plus, it gets a little steamy outside here. So thank God we've got some good weather right about now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't wait to get back. We've been in Atlanta for a little bit. Our kids live here. Our grandkids live here. So we've had a wonderful time being here, but I'm really antsy and itching to get back, get our shows reopened, get back to that great Las Vegas weather, especially, in the spring. It's beautiful. And even though the summer gets a little warm, other than playing golf, I try to be indoors most of the time, whether it's either in the theater or my house, where at least it's air conditioned.
By the way, I'm actually hunting for some golf clubs right now, some left-handed golf clubs. I'm a lefty. So who knows? Maybe I'll get out there and embarrass myself just a little bit, right? It's just because I'm good at that, if you know what I mean. I can't help that.
Well, let's play. I look forward to it. It's one of the things I look forward to. So we'll definitely play when I get back.
You know, I've played 10 rounds in my whole life. 10. That's it. But my first time out, I shot a 92.
That's great. I've been playing since the last 28 years, and very often I shoot a 92.
I hit one van. I hit a building. I hit a couple of trees, right? These are the things that you kind of have to do. But I didn't take any of those, free shots. No, whatever they call them, mulligans, I guess, right? No, none of that
mulligans.
stuff. No, I counted all of that stuff. And the great news for me in all the years that I've actually been swinging a golf club is I've been really good at the miniature golf clown's nose and the anthill. That's where I've actually excelled. So in that putting game, that's kind of where I made up a little bit of difference. You know what I mean?
That's where you score. You know, it's not about the drives. It's like they say, you drive for show and putt for dough.
That's it. Well, see, I don't even know what the language is, but I'll go ahead and I'll put that one in the bank.
Show me the money!
All right. So you know what? Here's what I want to do. In our next segment coming up, I want you to take a little bit more time and tell everybody about the evolution of how you got started in this. I mean, let's go back to the beginning, but I want you to take us in a quick timeline, kind of like in the Bronx Wanderers. You know, they had that timeline, right? And I'd like to see a similar thing for Glist Entertainment, where Alan started, Kathy started, and where you're at today. It's a really good story, and it is the classic American dream story. And I love that because these are stories that a lot of people are like, well, you know, I want to do it, but I can't necessarily do it.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
My favorite one had to do with the Green Bay Packers. And I love the fact that they dealt off Ty Montgomery because of a blown assignment. Green Bay isn't Green Bay unless they have a good running game. Then they can win 10 Super Bowls. The fact is, you don't have a running game. You've got 70% passing, and that's not where Aaron Rodgers needs to be. He needs to be in a position where he's got a running game to offset the passing game and so forth. I like the move. Green Bay didn't have a running game anyway, so all they're doing is saying, we're going to get rid of you because you don't follow instructions.
Well, he made one of the most boneheaded plays I've ever seen. There's 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. They traded him on Tuesday.
They should have cut him on Sunday night.
He shouldn't have been on the plane back to Green Bay.
Right, they should have made him walk back to Green Bay.
No, it was a terrible play. Now, he's not a stupid guy. He went to Stanford. He's not a dumb guy.
He's not a dumb guy, but he doesn't follow instructions.
He made a terrible play.
The fact is he didn't follow instructions. And you say he's not a dumb guy. His own agenda he put ahead of his team.
I agree.
Thus, he is a dumb guy. Right or wrong?
Wrong. He just got selfish. You're not going to convince me that a guy from Stanford's a dum-dum.
No!
This is Sidney Justin from the Miracles.
So you heard yesterday's show at Roy Firestone. Did you hear a little clip about him going into the office where Smokey was at? That was really good material, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really funny, man.
Yeah, and then you heard him.
I thought it was hilarious. It was cool, though. It was cool. Really cool story, man. I enjoyed listening to that.
Right, and then he gave a couple of bars. Can you give us a couple of more from Ooh Baby Baby, and let's see if you could do it better than Roy Firestone? Come on, man!
All right, you know what? Why not? I did you wrong. My heart went out to play, but in the game I lost you. What a price to pay. Hey, I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby. How's that, man?
That's
Is that okay? Is that good enough?
That's incredible.
That's fantastic.
You know why? Because that's what you do. You're in the incredible business, Sid. That's awesome. Yes. Only on the Sports Circus. You're going to get sports. You get music.
Hello, Jack McDowell here, Black Jack McDowell, and you're watching the Sports Circus, which is totally cool. So you have a great time watching. Have some fun.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from fabulous Las Vegas. Folks, this segment is brought to you by Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Cali Vegas can help with everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job every day, and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Cali Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119. Or check them out online at CaliVegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. And welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Big hello to our friends over in Honolulu, CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. Thanks for joining us. KCAA, our NBC News and CNBC financial affiliate in the greater Los Angeles market, right here in Las Vegas. KIOF 97.9 FM. Down in the greater Houston market, that'd be KSIX CBS Sports. Corpus Christi, thanks for joining us. Home of the Astros, Rockets, and Texans. Again, our friends up in Faraday, Louisiana. We're going to be seeing you pretty soon. That would be 107.1 The River. That'd be Mid-South Broadcasting. Jim, Bob, and the boys, thanks for joining us. WAUD over in Auburn, Alabama, home of the Atlanta Braves, as well as WDJY out of Atlanta and WBNW up in Boston. Thanks for joining us everywhere on social media, hotel rooms from coast to coast. Right back here with the great Alan Glist, 43-time Tony Award winner. And by the way, soon to be, hopefully, the new king of Las Vegas with all these shows that he has. Alan, give everybody a big refresher as to what's going on with Glist Entertainment right here in Las Vegas.
Well, we're excited to be reopening our shows in Las Vegas. As most people know, entertainment has been shut down in Las Vegas for quite a while because of COVID, but we're looking forward to reopening. And we've got Bronx Wanderers at Harrah's. We've got Menopause the Musical, which is our show that we've had 16 years now, longest running musical in Las Vegas history. We're going to have it at Harrah's again. Again, as I say, Bronx Wanderers, probably the best rock and roll show I've ever seen, with a great story, a father and his sons, and they play some of the best music you've ever heard with a great storyline. And then, of course, we have our psychic medium, Thomas John, the Manhattan Medium, where we'll be back at Caesar's Palace, hopefully in a short time.
If I'm not mistaken, I went to go see one of I've seen the Bronx Wanderers show quite a few times. It's a fantastic show, folks. Look, no plug here. It's actually a shameless plug for Alan, because I got to tell you, this really is one of the most entertaining shows right here in Las Vegas. But if I'm not mistaken, I went to a milestone show a year ago. It was kind of a big deal. How many shows was it? It was a huge number, Alan.
Well, ironically, last year we celebrated with Menopause the Musical our 5,000th show, and obviously Bronx Wanderers have been in Vegas a lot less. We've only been there a little over 4 years, but we celebrated our 1,000th show, which is quite a milestone in Las Vegas, considering shows open and close like crazy. So we're very proud of those kind of statistics and those kind of numbers.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I remember I went to the 1,000th show for the Bronx Wanderers, and the Menopause show, 5,000 shows. That's crazy. Right here on the Sports Circus, not too long ago, we actually did our 1,000th show as well. How do you like that? I'm giving ourselves a round of applause because it was very exciting. I guess that's kind of the crossover, the bridge, where you become just a show to maybe a long-running show. How do you like that?
Well, I think Absolutely. I mean, it's so unusual today, Sal. Entertainment is so tough, and there's so much competition all over the world, but particularly in Las Vegas. When we shut down, I think there were about 176 shows, and I was proud of the fact that 2 of our shows were in the top 10 as far as ratings go in Las Vegas. So, when you can do 1,000 shows on radio and TV, as you've done, and, we could do 1,000 shows with Bronx and 5,000 with Menopause, you can give all those shameless plugs. We're entitled to it.
Right. Well, here's the funny thing. They say, well, it's a sports show. What are you talking about stage shows for? I'll tell you what, because there's a lot of conditioning involved in it. And by the way, that conditioning, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's kind of like the story of Glist Entertainment, Alan Glist. Alan, when you started in the industry in the first place, you probably didn't think that you were going to be doing what you're doing. I had the same experience, but tell everybody how this whole thing happened with you.
Well, it goes back about 30 years. I had a very successful apparel business. We manufactured and sold stores all over the world, our men's apparel. And my wife came to me one day and said, I would love to do something for charity. So we offered to produce a show if they would let us do it at a real theater with a real director and choreographer and musical director. And it was extremely successful. I think the first show we ever did for charity was Fiddler on the Roof. We were kind of novices, but we had a fair idea how to put something together like that. And it was extremely successful. And at that show, we did it 2 weekends in a row. We raised about $100,000 for charity.
Wow.
And there was a Broadway producer in the audience. And after the show, he said, I'd like to meet the producers. So we met him, and he said, I'm doing a show in New York. Would you guys be interested in getting involved? And we got involved with him. It was a horrible situation, but we remain friends to this day. And we went on over the next 3 years to produce 3 shows for charity. And then we got the bug so bad that we decided to get involved and, start producing professionally, Broadway, off-Broadway, regionally, and so on. And then we hooked up with our partner, who became our partner for 25 years. And Kathy found Menopause the musical in a little theater in West Palm Beach back in 2001. And we started producing that and have been doing that for 20 years. And as I said before, it's worldwide, in 13 countries and translated in 7 languages. But, we really got hooked. I would say most of what we've ever produced are musicals. We've maybe only done 2 or 3 straight plays in all the years, but mostly musicals. We love it. My daughter was a performer for many years, so we kind of got the bug when she was performing. In fact, I think that's sort of how we got involved. I used to buy tickets for all my friends and family to see her shows. Oh. And one time at the end of the show, I stood up and said, gosh, it would be cheaper to produce my own show than to have to buy all these tickets. And man, was I wrong.
That's funny. And a big welcome back to everybody tuning in on Hotel Television and our CBS, NBC, Fox Sports affiliates. Here with the great Alan Glist, 43-time Tony Award winner, Glist Entertainment. He and Kathy are doing a fantastic job with their shows, Bronx Wanderers, Menopause, Thomas John, the Psychic Medium, right here in Las Vegas. And, hearing about the evolution of how you got involved, it's funny because a lot of people have the same – I wasn't planning on getting involved in this industry, but it just happened to be. I mean, me personally, I wasn't trying to be on radio or television. I had no idea. And sometimes this is the hand you're dealt. But you know what? That hand was dealt to you many years ago, and you just didn't realize until you picked your cards up saying, wow, I got a royal flush.
You're so right, Sal. I think, sometimes in life you got to play the cards you're dealt. And sometimes you get cards unexpectedly that you never thought were coming your way. And this was just a fluke that we happened to decide to do it for charity. It worked out well. We had 3 very successful shows. And we took the ball and ran with it. And interestingly enough, I was involved on the business side for the first few years because I still had my apparel business. And when I sold my apparel business in 2001, it was very interesting because I said to Kathy, I've always wanted to take 4 or 5 months off and play some golf, clean out my garage, do all the things I've never had time to do. And then what happened was I got in a car accident the day afterward and I broke my hand. So I couldn't play golf, couldn't clean out my garage. So I started going into our office where we had our, production business for the theater. And I realized that it was a real business. Up until then, it was kind of like a hobby and fun stuff. And we realized that there was a real business there. And, the rest was history. But yeah, it's fun. I love it. Got more involved on the creative side over the years. And it's something, it's become a real passion. We work round the clock and have never minded it.
The cool thing is it's sort of like you found something outside of the apparel business that you really dig. It's when you fall into something, people think you fall into things on accident. It's no accident, folks. Look, at some point, that path was set for you. It's just up to you to identify your surroundings and everything here. Alan, wouldn't you agree with that?
100%. I think sometimes, whether you believe in psychics or you believe in astrology or, just if you believe in karma or fate, I think that, sometimes you'll get a message or sometimes something will come your way. And I think those that sit back and don't do anything about it miss out on certain great opportunities in life. I just really think you got to look for those signals in life. And when you get it, as they say in football, take the ball and run with it.
Right. Well, and a lot of times it's identifying what your surroundings are, because a lot of times it's right there hiding in plain sight. All you've got to do is just grab it. And most people can't even see the things right in front of their noses. And that's the tragedy. And I think with a lot of people, I don't care where you're at in the world, the fact is an opportunity is just that. And all you've got to do is open your eyes to see it right in front of your nose.
Absolutely. And, it almost gets back to the story that Vinny tells during the Bronx Wanderers show, where he was a big record executive for many years. And then Sony came in and bought the business and they basically let everybody go. They didn't need everybody at Columbia Records anymore. So what happened was Vinny ran into Chaz Palminteri, the great actor. And, he wrote A Bronx Tale and he's just a fabulous guy. He said to Vinny at the time, like 16 years ago, why don't you take your kids and start a group? And Vinny took him seriously. At first, he thought it was crazy because Nicky was 11 and little Vinny was 14. They started a group, and the rest is history. Now they're a headliner in the Las Vegas Strip.
100%. I tell you what, folks, we're going to be back here with the great Alan Glist in just a few moments. The stories are great. And guess what? Stick around. We've got more for you. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door. store without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at uppercutchops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at uppercutchops.com.
This is Randy Grimes, formerly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Everybody, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. We are being brought to you today from Las Vegas and Atlanta, Georgia. And we have the great Sal Tuzzolino on today. We're very excited. My name is Alan Glist from Glist Entertainment. We currently are producing 3 shows in Las Vegas: Bronx Wanderers at Harrah's, Menopause the Musical at Harrah's, and Thomas John, Celebrity Psychic Medium over at Caesar's Palace. And we're very excited that you're back and with us. And let me bring in Sal Tuzzolino.
Right. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We're going to have to put Alan on the Mount Rushmore of Las Vegas Strip shows. I think we need one of those. A big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Magic 97.9 FM right here in Las Vegas. And, of course, thanks for everybody tuning in on social media as well as the sportscircus.com and hotels. 650,000 in 187 markets. 650,000 rooms in 187 markets from coast to coast. Huge numbers. Imagine this, Alan. If you set out to do an advertising campaign, imagine the fact of getting, 4.8 million impressions per hour. That's unbelievable. Everybody's getting that right about now. 4.8 million impressions.
You know, Sal, Kathy and I, we laugh all the time when we think about it because you're amazing. You're like either the Walmart or Starbucks of radio and TV. When I think about 187 markets and 650,000 rooms, the numbers are staggering. I mean, congratulations. Good for you. Those are really exciting numbers in the medium and broadcasting world.
It's crazy. And by the way, folks, we can't really announce it just yet, but we're actually doing the first beta test for another venue, which is going to add almost double the amount of impressions, possibly more. We don't know yet. We're kind of halfway through the beta testing on this. Alan, as soon as we get the news, you'll be the second to know because I'll be the first one to know. Unbelievable progress for the circus and for AMP TV. That's all ages media programming. In fact, let's see if we can get our producer. Maybe not. It's live, folks. Anything can happen. Well, no, really what happened was I think it's great. But AMP TV, from a production side, we said, instead of, and you know this as a producer, instead of having somebody else drive the bus for your show, and you don't necessarily know what you're getting, if we produce our own content and we edit, broadcast, post, distribute, if we do all of our own work, at least we know the caliber of product that we're putting out there in the first place. And so AMP TV was put together, which stands for All Ages Media Programming, kind of like Glist Entertainment, right? So we'll produce a bunch of shows, and these are shows from comedy to sports to music to short subject contents. You never know what we're going to have. But I'll tell you what, Alan, being a producer for all of your content, that having a grip on the quality of the content is paramount to your success, isn't it?
Yes, I believe that. We're very hands-on producers. And I think that nowadays, with all the competition in the world, whether it's streaming, virtual, live entertainment, if you're not on your game, you're going to get killed because, we've always had a philosophy. Good doesn't make it in the entertainment world. You got to be great. And even if you're great, you don't always stand a chance of being successful. But anything less than greatness just doesn't cut it. So I agree with you. You really got to be on top of it. And that's one of the reasons we're such hands-on producers. We want great quality.
Right. So if we did have, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the segment, if we did have a Mount Rushmore for maybe producers for shows right here in Las Vegas, if we had those 4 giant craniums up on top of a mountain, would we see Alan Glist?
I don't know. I went to Mount Rushmore this year and it was a rush. I loved it, but I don't know. Listen, I'm thrilled just to be producing 3 shows in Las Vegas. For me, it's like a dream come true. My dad took me to Vegas the first time when I was 16 years old. And I'll never forget, I said to him having breakfast one morning, wow, would I love to live in Las Vegas, and would I love to have a business here, you know, and have an excuse to be here, because there's just a certain electricity in the air in Las Vegas. So I feel so honored to be a producer of 3 successful shows in Las Vegas. I sometimes have to pinch myself and see if it's real. Like, is this really me? Is this really what's happening? So I'm just thrilled to have that going on.
You know, it's funny that you were there in Las Vegas when you were 16, and I was here in Las Vegas the very first time. We went on one of those Vegas vacations, right? And of course, you probably remember the film. I've seen the film 100 times myself. But my first time I was here was when I was 12 years old. 12 years old. So my father packed up the family and said, "Yeah, we're going to Vegas, kids." And so we went to Vegas. And of course, I was 12. The only place that I could go back in, we'll say at an earlier time. I'm not going to date myself just yet. But nonetheless, the only place that I could go to as a 12-year-old was Circus Circus. But what was cool, Alan, was the old properties were all up, right? You had, for me, it was the big marquees that were 20 stories high. And I love those. My favorite ones, of course, were the Frontier of the Stardust. Love those giant marquees and the old Golden Nugget sign that you may remember, of course, downtown. Those were the best of the best. And thank God the clown is still up at Circus Circus.
I agree. That's one of the first places that when I brought my kids to Las Vegas for the first time many moons ago, that was one of the first places we went. And even as recently as last year before COVID, when my grandkids came to town, we went to Circus Circus. And it's still a lot of fun, whether you're young or old. We just had a ball. I mean, it's just great. I hope it sticks around for a while. I hope they don't decide to tear it down like they've done with all the other old hotels.
Well, I've kind of unfortunately heard that the circus has a shelf life of about 3 years because it has been sold, or they're going to redo something. They're going to build, I guess, a mega resort on the ground of where Circus is, and next to it where they've had the big concerts right on the corner of Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard. So I don't know. I mean, that's just hearsay at this point, but that's what I understand. It's kind of tragic. Oh, by the way, folks, a big welcome back to everybody watching in 650,000 hotel rooms from coast to coast, and everybody on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates. We are here with the great Alan Glist, 43. Yes, 43. Can you say that? 43 Tony Awards. That's the guy with 3 top shows right here in fabulous Las Vegas. And so talking about, Alan, the shows that go in and out of these properties. Now, you've seen a lot of them kind of come and go, but you've had incredible staying power. What is the trick to keeping that staying power for your productions?
I think it's a combination, Sal. I think it's number one, having really good content and having shows that people love. One of the things that Kathy and I decided early on in our careers, especially being music lovers, we love musicals, and we decided we wanted to mainly produce musicals. So 2 of our 3 shows in Las Vegas are musicals, and you know, they're invigorating musicals. They're toe tapping. You walk out with a smile on your face. Kathy uses an expression that you got to walk out feeling better than you walked in. And luckily our shows produce that, you know? And then the other thing is it's marketing your shows. I'll never forget when we opened our first show in Las Vegas 16 years ago at the Hilton. There was a producer that came to opening night, and he had a long-running show in Las Vegas. And I asked him what the secret was. And he said to me, one of the secrets is don't let anybody else make the decisions for you. Get to know the Las Vegas market, get to know your customer, and you make your marketing and advertising decisions. And that's what Kathy and I did. And, you know, we've spent a lot of time and effort marketing our shows. And that's, I think, one of the keys in addition to having great entertainment content.
Well, one of the things that I really admire the most is, for example, after watching the Bronx Wonder show, I mean, it's very toe tapping, finger snapping. It's one of those shows that really, if you walk out of there feeling worse than you did when you walked in. You missed everything. You were either sleeping, you had your earbuds in, and you had an eye block on because you didn't watch the show. But I love the fact that after the show, that the guys are out there in the lobby, they're signing autographs, they're taking pictures with people, and they're interacting with everybody. And I think that's a real lost art. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, that's one of the things that make them unique. Between Big Vinny and Little Vinny, I've seen them stay out there for an hour and a half. You know, as long as people are there, they're going to be there talking to them and, signing autographs, signing CDs and so on. So, yeah, I think that's all part of it. I think, even to this day, I've been very fortunate in this business to meet some pretty famous celebrities. And I'm still like a kid when it comes to that. When I meet somebody that I've been following for years or, somebody that's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to me, it's very exciting. And I think that's how a lot of these people feel when they come to live entertainment and get to do a little meet and greet at the end with the entertainers and get an autograph or a picture with them. So we believe that's very important.
I think it's very important because it keeps people attached to that experience, and that will make them feel closer to the experience. It will make them want to go back. I remember Big Vinny and Little Vinny, they took pictures with me and they talked with me and they treated me like I was a human and I wasn't just somebody who picked up a ticket to go see the show. I think that's a real important piece of everything. Those meet and greets are so vital, and that's one of those older pieces I think that a lot of the entertainers are missing today because they're so big. They see themselves up on these giant marquees, and what they don't do is they don't do the little things that matter. So guess what, folks? In the next segment, we're going to come back and ask Alan a couple of questions about maybe his favorite musicals that are not the ones that he produces. Back here with the great Alan Glist in just a few moments, folks. Lots more to come here on The Circus. Don't go anywhere.
The multi-format network is here to help create, produce, distribute, and sell your content. For more information, send a message to info@aamp.tv. That's info@aamp.tv.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
You're watching the Sports Circus, and I am Brian Erlacher.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from fabulous Las Vegas. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guest schedule, our podcast, and also check out our partners. In fact, our partners include the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, upcoming events and games. Check them out at csncoyotes.com. That's csncoyotes.com. And by the way, folks, in case you missed part of this show and you want to go back and listen, on the sportscircus.com website, just click on the Apple Podcast, the Spotify, iHeartRadio, NBC, or CBS logos that are there that take you right to the recorded shows page. Look for today's date. Guess what? Now you can listen to the entire show with myself and, of course, our esteemed legendary guest, Alan Glist of Glist Entertainment, 43 Tony Awards. That's the guy, 43. And look at him. He's just all casual, got the coat open. And I'm looking for you to have a bottle of your favorite adult beverage or something with you there. Thanks for joining us again from Atlanta.
Thank you. Great to be here. I've been a big fan of your show for a long time, so I feel honored and privileged. And thank you so much for having me. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, but I want to know, look, as you're a big producer for big time shows, what is your favorite musical beyond what you do? Growing up, maybe.
You know, I believe it or not, and I know this is going to sound very funny because of a guy that's dedicated his recent life.
Never qualify it. Never qualify your statement. What do you got?
I never went to a musical as a kid. My father was a jazz musician, so I listened to a lot of music, went to a lot of jazz clubs, but I didn't see my first musical for many years. But I would say that I probably got a list of 4 or 5. I loved Hamilton, obviously, loved Jersey Boys, which we were supposed to produce, but we turned it down because we had just had a couple of flops and wasn't sure I ever wanted to produce again. Loved Book of Mormon, loved Wicked. I loved our show 9 to 5, the Dolly Parton musical, and Ring of Fire, 2 of my favorite shows that we ever produced on Broadway. So yeah, I've got a bunch of musicals that I've loved over the years. I can't say I've got specifically one.
Okay, so as a kid, let's just say watching on TV, right? So I'm a few years behind you. By the way, a belated happy birthday to you. Of course, we want to make sure we won't get the age out there. We'll just say you're 21 again, right? All right. So, all right. So as a kid growing up, even watching on television, was there something that you said, you know what? Wow, this is my favorite movie of all time?
Yes, I've got a few. I loved Rocky. I loved Godfather. I loved The Notebook. I probably got 4 or 5. I was talking to my kids, Billy Jack, believe it or not, which is kind of like almost like a cult classic. I would have to tell you Billy Jack is one of my top 5 of all time. I've been talking to my grandkids about it recently, and we talked about E.T., The Karate Kid, Billy Jack, Godfather, Rocky, The Notebook. And I said to them, those are 5 or 6 movies that I want to watch with you.
What about musical-driven films?
I loved West Side Story. I liked Jersey Boys. I didn't think the movie was nearly as good as the stage play, but I liked that one. But I remember West Side Story as a kid really knocked my socks off. I thought it was a beautiful production. I loved all the music. That I liked that a lot.
My favorite one growing up, without question, unequivocally, which is still my favorite film today, was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yes, because first of all, I love chocolate. I've absolutely, for me, it'll be death by chocolate, no question. But I love the fact of the story, the hard luck kid with Charlie Bucket. And then you have Veruca Salt, who gets everything. But at the end of the day, it's Charlie Bucket's persistence to stay focused and not cheat and be honest and accountable at the end of the story. It's a great story, but it's a great musical too. And the songs are timeless. You know, Charlie Bucket, I got to get him on this show. He's still around, even though he doesn't like to talk about it. I got to get Charlie Bucket on the show, if you know what I mean.
No, that's a great idea. As a matter of fact, I totally agree with you. I've watched that movie many times with my kids and my grandkids, and I love the message it delivers. So I didn't think about it, but you're right. That would definitely be high on my list.
That's one of those ones that I don't care whatever is on, a new premiere of something, I'm going to turn the channel if I know Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, not the remake version with Johnny Depp. No. I want the Gene Wilder. I want that one. That's the best one of all time. To me, it's still the best musical film. Some people like The Sound of Music. For me, it's all about Willy Wonka. By the way, folks, we are here with the great Alan Glist. A big welcome back to everybody watching on Hotel Television from coast to coast in 187 markets, and everybody else tuning in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. You know, the reason I bring up the Willy Wonka thing also is there was a competition for those golden tickets, like we've seen competitions for trophies in sports, right? Now, we've seen the Super Bowl recently, right? And we saw Tom Brady win his seventh ring. But guess what? He only has 7 compared to a guy like Yogi Berra that's got 13 World Series rings. Imagine that. And then you take some of the other greats from the others. That's why I asked you the Mount Rushmore question earlier in the show. Because when we think of the Mount Rushmore sports, you know, everybody likes to do that kind of thing. If you had one for sports, what is your for hockey, football, basketball, and baseball only? Only those 4.
As far as Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you went to Mount Rushmore recently, why not?
Yeah, totally. My idols growing up was guys like Mickey Mantle, number 7. You know, I just idolized him. You know, I wanted to play baseball because of Mickey Mantle. Willie Mays, Joe DiMaggio, even though, you know, Joe DiMaggio was a little bit before my time, but I watched, you know, a lot of film on him, and my dad talked a lot about him and so on. Number 8, Yogi Berra, you know, phenomenal baseball player that, you know, you just got to love. And I've read books and all the stories about Yogi. I actually had an opportunity to meet him one time, and I just loved all the sayings. You know, Yogi had the greatest Yogiisms ever. So guys like Dan Marino, because I'm a huge Dolphins fan, even though he never won a Super Bowl, you know, I would have to put him right up there. One of the toughest competitors, you know, great quarterback, great athlete. Obviously, Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky from hockey, LeBron James and Michael Jordan, they would have to be up there from basketball. I just think, you know, if you look through the sports annals of every sport, it's so tough. A guy like Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, you know, how do you not put those guys up there? So no matter what sport you look at, there's so many great guys that I think if you wanted to really do a great Mount Rushmore from the 4 or 5 top sports, you'd need to put at least 15, 18 guys up on there.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because a lot of people seem to leave out the golfing side of it. And you take guys like Woods and Nicklaus. Let's just go back to Woods. I mean, he's outdone everybody. What about in tennis? We forgot the whole tennis world. I mean, there are greats in the tennis world that don't even get a squeak. You know, and you'll get a guy like Muhammad Ali, who was certainly a great fighter. But I got to tell you, I don't think he was certainly the greatest. He was a good fighter. But no question, the greatest boxer in the history of boxing was who? Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano was the guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's very hard for me because I didn't know Rocky Marciano. I only knew of him. The exciting thing for me was I watched One Night in Miami the other night, which is I guess a fictional story on Muhammad Ali and Sam Cooke and Malcolm X and Jim Brown, who I was a big fan of growing up, even though I wasn't a Cleveland Browns fan, but I was a big, a fan of Jim Brown's growing up. But I was a huge Muhammad Ali fight. Believe it or not, my dad, because I lived in Miami and because Muhammad Ali trained at the Fifth Street Gym on Miami Beach, his first big championship fight against Sonny Liston was at the Convention Center in Miami Beach. And my dad took me. And because I was a young kid, I was, I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 9 years old. But because my dad grew up in Detroit and Joe Louis was, kind of his boyhood idol, we loved boxing. And my dad asked the organist that night, they always have an organ playing at all the boxing events, could my son sit on top of the organ so he can see the match and the ring? And I sat up there and I went to almost every one of the championship fights that Muhammad Ali had for the next few years against guys like, Sonny Liston, Ingemar Johansson, Floyd Patterson. So I was a big fight fan in the early days.
That's a great story, being able to sit on top of the organ just so you can see the fight. I mean, how many people get that opportunity? I mean, Muhammad Ali was a tremendous champion, no doubt. But then you got guys like Marciano, even Joe Louis. I would argue, if you look at pound for pound, who they fought, when they fought, Joe Louis is a better champion than Muhammad Ali. But then again, what do I know? That's way before my time anyway. So I have to defer to the stats and the videos and everything else, and everybody else's second and third hand information. So what the hell do I know? But I'll tell you what I do know. There are certain players out there that really belong. And going back to the golfing world, I mean, Tiger Woods has done it. And then he had the injury, and then he gets back out and win the Masters again. I mean, look, it's not by mistake. Some people just have greatness in them. Michael Jordan gets there 6 times, wins 6 times. Oh, by the way, the best player on both sides of the ball. And not just once, 9 times, all defensive team. That's crazy. That's what sets him apart from everybody else. Just like Tom Brady as being probably the greatest leader of all time in the National Football League. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with you. And, when you talk about people like LeBron James in basketball or Tom Brady in football, what I'm always so intrigued about is it's not just their athletic prowess or their winning ability. What I love is when they're able to take a team, an entire team, and raise them to another level. If you look at what LeBron James did in Miami or what he's doing now with the Lakers or even what he did at Cleveland, he brought good players and made them a great team. And he did that again when he went to the Lakers recently, where they won the championship last year. Tom Brady goes to a team like Tampa Bay that was 7-9 last year, and all of a sudden makes them a Super Bowl champion. It's only because of Tom Brady. He elevates everybody to another level. And that's what makes these guys so unique and so special, I believe.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, Alan, we're running on time here. We got about a minute left. I want you to tell everybody about your shows real quick, how to follow you, how to follow everything that you're involved with. Go ahead.
Well, go to GlistEntertainment.com. That'll kind of tell you the story of what we're doing. We have Menopause the Musical at Harrah's in Las Vegas. You'll love it. It's a lot of fun. It's this title kind of tells it all. We have the Bronx Wanderers in Las Vegas, and the best rock and roll show you'll ever see with the best music. I laugh all the time when I say this, but I think they do Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen is good, if not better than Queen. And Vinny tells some fabulous stories. And then, of course, Thomas John, the psychic medium. And we're excited. We love producing our shows in Las Vegas. You can't go wrong with any of them. We've been there for years. The shows are successful, and you'll have a great time. And I thank you, Sal, for having me on your show. Being a big fan of the Sports Circus, I'm very excited to have been on your show today. So thank you so much.
The great Alan Glist, 43-time Tony Award winner. Tell you what, folks, make sure you check out Glist Entertainment for everything that he said. Make sure you follow him on social media as well. We're out of time here at the circus. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next time right here on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.